Salutations to the Divine Mother. Om Shri Durgaye Namaha. My meeting with Anandmayee Maa was a different meeting of a very special kind. This was when I was in my 20s, early 20s. I dreamt that Maa Anandmayee Maa was standing on a platform, and there were millions of people there in that particular hall. I was in the last row. Looking at her, I just felt so much love at that point in time. Suddenly, I saw that Mother had turned around and put her finger up and beckoned for me to come. I do not know how I found my way to her. Through the millions of people, that crowd, I found my way and I found myself in a hug. I will not forget that ever. That was my first meeting with Anandmayee Maa. As I speak to you, it does something for me. I feel a lot of love. Love which I feel I do not know what to do about it. Later, I got a chance to spend some time at Sadhana Dham, an ashram also in Kankal, not too far away from Mother's shrine. Sumitra Maa, who stayed at Sadhana Dham, knew Maa and asked me whether I would like to go and visit the ashram at Kankal, where Mother was at that point in time. Before she had asked the question, I was ready with my answer. I was just very happy and excited to meet Mother again. As we drove towards the ashram and were close to that ashram, Mother's ashram, as we were at the gate, I suddenly had the same experience of love. I do not know what to do about it. It was just something which was, it was just a lot of something happening within me. We reached Mother, and there were quite a few people there for her darshan. She gave me a hanky which I have to date, with Jai Maa written on it. I had an opportunity to meet her once again before she took samadhi, that is, she left her body. Again, it was that same experience that I had. I just love her. I do not know how one can describe this kind of love. Whenever I am in Haridwar, it is a practice with me to come and visit her shrine, if not every day, but at least twice a week. I sit in the meditation hall and it's like going into a trance. There is just something there. You feel so connected. It's calm, tranquil, and you are at complete peace. I never dreamt about her again, and never had a desire either, because I always felt presence wherever I may be. I had a number of experiences at the shrine. Whenever I have a friend visiting me, I like to bring them to Mother's shrine. And also, the Rudraksh tree at the shrine is very special to me. For some reason, I do not know why. I find a Rudraksha or somebody gives it to me every time I visit the temple of Mother Anandmayee. In recent times, when I visited the shrine, after a few minutes of meditation, I came out. There was a friend of mine with me from Bombay, and I told him about the Rudraksh tree. And I said, "Oh, how I wish I could get one." Believe it or not, at that moment I saw a lady, hunched back, very old, walking towards me. I do not know from where she appeared. She came straight to me, and in the meantime, I was telling my friend, I said, "I just want to hug her. I want to feel close to her." And this lady comes to me and hugged me and blessed me and had the Rudraksh on my body, blessing me all the time. I felt something go through my body. I felt Mother's presence. I knew she was there. She also blessed my friend, who thought he was exceptionally lucky to have come that particular day. It was an out-of-the-world experience, difficult to put in words. How do you put these kind of things in words? It just doesn't happen that way. These are experiences which are so special, so very special, so very different. You can make an attempt, if necessary, to explain it, but I do not think you can do justice to that particular experience. At the moment, I'm sitting at Mother's shrine. This was not a planned thing. I didn't even know it was going to happen. Didi gave permission that we could document this. So it's happening. Mother's blessings only. I met Udasji, who I believe had served Mother for many years. I was very young at that time. And I sat and spoke to her for a long time about Mother. So I asked her, "Udasji, if I write to you, will you write back to me?" She said, "Yes, of course." Anytime I wrote to her, she would write to me, and she had only one thing to say. "Remember Mother at all times. She will help you, she will guide you, she will be there for you always." I never forgot that message. I never forgot her words. I remember them and practice them all the time. Though I met Mother very briefly, but it seems that I've known her for many, many, many lives. From where it comes, I do not know. There is something there for sure. What is it? I do not know. If I think of her, I can see her there in front of me, loving, caring, blessing. What more can one ask for? This is indeed some good karma. I have met many spiritual masters, and I call this different encounters of a special kind. First spiritual master that I met, I do not recall the name, was somewhere in the Himalayas where we had to trek up, cross Ganges at 2 places, and reached his abode. He had a small place which seemed to be quite self-sufficient. The vegetables were grown there, and it just seems that he had everything in that space. I was a child then, and I felt really very special because I was treated that way by this particular master whose name I cannot remember. He fed me. I felt something within my body. I do not know what it was. After that, as mentioned, I spent a lot of time at Sadhana Dham, an ashram at Kankal. It's called Swami Ramananji's ashram, where I spent a lot of time with Sadhana Maa. Maa's teachings are so beautiful. What she has to say, the only action which is worthwhile is that action which kindles the flame inside, the flame of the divine. Anything that leads you to the divine is worthwhile. She does not advocate any particular path. She says, everybody is different, so they have to find their own path. All paths lead to the same center, to the divine. So whichever path you may follow, irrespective of how you reach there, that is where you need to go. She has been spoken about practically all our spiritual masters. She has been referred to as the most beautiful flower. I forget who said, I think Swami Vivekananda, I'm not sure. Maa's teachings are communicated through her bhajans, her jokes, her discourses, her songs. But the message is the same. Unconditional love for the divine. The only purpose of life being to reach there, to the center, to self-realization. One can just be sitting in her presence, not the physical body, but in her shrine, and you can go into a trance there is so much peace, so much tranquility. The other day I was visiting the shrine with a friend of mine, a foreigner. She seemed to be lost. And when she came out of the meditation hall, the hall where the shrine is, she was crying like a child. What had happened? Probably she connected with Mother, and Mother blessed her. I have the good fortune of being at her Samadhi. I take it as a very special blessing. That again happens, I do not know how. Attending Sanyam Saptah, which happens sometime in November, at the time of Kartik Purnima, is a very special occasion. People from all over the world come to attend that. Sanyam Saptah, it's a week which is devoted to the love of Mother. There are many discourses by different spiritual masters, and there is a fast which is kept by all the devotees staying here on the ashram who have come for the Sanyam Saptah. I have had the good fortune to attend Sanyam Saptah. It is a different kind of an experience. The vibrations are very potent, and Mother seems to be everywhere. It's filled with love and calm. I could just go on speaking about Ma. Do not know where to stop. After a few years, I moved to Bombay from Delhi. And I had not heard of Shirdi Sai Baba when I was in Delhi. Once again, I had dreamt about him, but I did not know who he was. A fakir in white robes. In Bombay, I found out that was Shirdi Sai Baba. I decided to visit Shirdi. On reaching Shirdi, my first encounter with Sai Baba, I felt the same kind of love. Once again, I could feel something, a lot of love, something different. I immediately thought of Ma. I suppose the higher consciousness is one, and everybody is linked there. All the spiritual masters, in their higher consciousness, are one. Or can I say that we are all one? If we are thinking about the highest consciousness. Man's purpose is to transcend the body and move to the higher levels of consciousness. In the presence of Ma, in the presence of Sai Baba, in the presence of many spiritual masters, you can have an experience of love, of transcendence, of moving to another level of consciousness. You can go into a trance. You can feel a lot of silence. With Eckhart, I felt a lot of silence. With other masters, you have different experiences, but they could be of love, they could be of peace, they could be of tranquility, they could be of a different kind of silence. Maybe they're just all the same. I bow to all the spiritual masters. I bow to Ma Anandmayee Maa. I bow to Shirdi Sai Baba. I bow to all the masters. I feel so blessed, so grateful that I cannot put it in words. At the feet of the divine power, at the feet of all the masters, I bow to you all. Thank you, and keep blessing me. Thank you.